Hey guys, Zaman
And Christina
from Our Rich Journey. Today we are talking about Spain versus Portugal. Because if you have been following our journey, you know that at one time we actually lived in Spain. In fact, we lived in Spain on and off for about 2 years. And when we were on our financial independence journey, we had a choice to make. We were deciding between retiring early in Spain or retiring early in Portugal. And we are here in Portugal. And we get this question a lot because many of you knew that we lived in Spain at one time, but yet we still chose Portugal. So on today's video, we are going to be breaking down our decision. Why did we pick Portugal over Spain? We know that a lot of you that are considering retiring in Europe are looking at Spain and looking at Portugal. And so maybe today's video can help you make that decision.
So just to explain a little bit about our background and our life in Spain, we lived in Spain. When we lived there, it was in southern Spain. We lived in a small town called Utrera for 1 year, and for another year we lived in a beach town called Porto de Santa Maria. And the first time we lived there, it was without kids. It was just the two of us. And the second time we lived there, it was with kids. But we've also traveled all throughout Spain. We've been to Sevilla, to Barcelona, to Madrid, and everywhere in between. Now, ultimately, like Aman said, we ended up retiring here in Portugal, and we've been here for over a year, and for us it was definitely the best decision.
So about a year ago, we prepared a video that talked about the top 10 reasons why we chose Portugal. But the focus of those reasons was comparing our reasoning to life in the United States. But what we're gonna do for this video is we're gonna take the criteria that we used for that video, for the top 10 reasons why we picked Portugal, and use that criteria to compare those reasons to Spain. And we think that's a great way to do it because we'll be comparing apples to apple reasonings for why we picked Portugal.
So the first criteria is how welcoming the people are to foreigners. And for this criteria, we have to give it to Portugal. Now, like we said, we had an amazing experience in Spain, and people there are very kind to foreigners as well, but we have to give this to Portugal.
Now, there are a lot of factors that go into how welcoming a country is, but Portugal in particular actually ranks as the top most welcoming country in Europe. Now, Spain, it's a welcoming country. We had a fine transition there, but when we compared the transition that we had coming from the United States to Spain versus United States to Portugal, coming to Portugal was a lot easier. And we'll talk about the visa process later on in this video, but what we're talking about is just how simple they made things for us to come here. People were extremely welcoming. It was almost like they were holding our hands through the entire process. And when we finally arrived, finding housing, opening a bank account, all of the things that you need in order to settle here in Portugal, they were very easy to do. And a lot of that has to do with the language. We didn't speak barely any Portuguese before we got here, but there is so much information that is in English that when you go to open a bank account, when you go to do all of these things to set up your life here, it's just simple because most of the information can be provided in English.
So that leads us to our second criteria, which is actually the language. So again, this point for us has to go to Portugal, but there are different aspects to the language. So I will say, in terms of learning the language, for us, learning Spanish was a lot easier than learning Portuguese. We are still constantly working on our Portuguese. We've been here for over a year and we are not fluent yet, so we're still working on that. So in terms of what's easier to learn, I would say Spanish. But in terms of being here, if you do not speak the language here, it's a lot easier for foreigners because even in rural areas, you can always find someone that speaks English. And I cannot say the same for Spain. If you go to small towns in Spain, very rural areas, you are not going to find people that are speaking English. So in terms of just overall language and being able to communicate with people, if you only speak English, that point for us has to go to Portugal.
Now, I know language can be a huge anxiety for people when they're moving to a foreign country, and learning Spanish is very easy to do when you live in the United States because there are resources all over the place. You can actually go and take a Spanish class while you're in the US. On the other hand, you will be challenged trying to find a European Portuguese class in the United States. So all of the learning that we tried to do before we got here, we couldn't find an actual class. We had to do everything online. So that's just something that you have to take into consideration. When you're coming to Portugal, you're going to find it more challenging to find resources and courses for European Portuguese while you're in the United States.
So let's look at the third criteria, which is diversity. Spain wins on this one. It's a little hard to go through the numbers and really give you a picture of what it's like because larger cities will have more general diversity and different ethnicities than the small rural communities, but we're looking at the overall country as a whole. So if you look at Spain's population, 90% of their population are people of Spanish descent. But if you look at Portugal, 95% of people in Portugal are of Portuguese descent. So in terms of overall general diversity of the entire country, Spain wins.
Now, I know a lot of you heard that number, 90 and 95%, and thought, that does not sound diverse at all. Now, Christina is talking about the total country. But when you come to Portugal or Spain and you're in a major city, you don't arrive and feel like you're a part of that 5 or 10% minority group because those cities are very, very diverse. When we lived in Lisbon, we felt like we were in a melting pot. What we're talking about is when you get outside of these major cities, you see less diversity. So if you are looking for more diversity, you want to go to one of the major cities.
So the next criteria is the visa process, and for us, this one goes to Portugal. It was a completely smooth process when we were applying for our visa. There were no problems. We didn't have any follow-up questions that the government asked us, and all of our documents that we submitted were in English. They required no translation. Now that's very different from the process for applying for a visa with Spain. With Spain, you have to translate all of your official documents, and so that's an added burden when you're applying for your visa.
And in fact, the process in Spain can get so cumbersome that a lot of people cannot do it themselves. Many people actually hire someone to walk them through the visa process in Spain. Portugal, on the other hand, we are strong believers in that you can do this yourself. So when we were going through the process, it was so smooth, and we always encourage other people, if they want to come to Portugal, there is no problem with them taking the process into their own hands and doing it themselves.
So let's talk about our next criteria, which are the tax incentives.
We love this criteria because taxes are a big driver, especially for us who are early retirees who live off of their investments. It was a very big point for us. And so when we were looking at the tax incentives between Spain and Portugal, hands down, had a better tax incentive.
So we are here on a D7 visa in Portugal, but we also got approved for an NHR status, which is the non-habitual resident status. It's a tax scheme that gives incentives to foreigners living here in Portugal. Now, under this scheme, our foreign income is exempt from being taxed here in Portugal. That means our dividends, our interest, rental incomes, those things are not taxed here in Portugal. But if we didn't have this special NHR status, we would be taxed on those things in Portugal. Now, Spain also has a tax incentive. It's informally referred to as the Beckham Law because it was generated around the time when David Beckham came to Spain to play football, also known as soccer. But he was a player there, and so they came up with new laws regarding how income is taxed. Now, this tax incentive is only for people who actually come to Spain to work. And the incentive allows for people to be taxed at a flat rate of 24% up to $600,000. And then after that, they're taxed at a rate of 45%. Now, in Spain, the general tax regime, if you don't fall under this special law, is that you're progressively taxed up to a rate of 45%. Now, because of our situation and because we live off of the dividends and interest of our portfolio, the tax incentives offered by Portugal were much better for us.
The next criteria we want to talk about is healthcare. And we know this is so important to so many people. It should be the top of everyone's list. But when we were looking at Portugal and Spain, you look at their healthcare systems and they are ranked relatively close to one another. Spain is ranked 7th in the world and Portugal is ranked 12th in the world. But still, we choose Portugal. And this is kind of a complicated thing, but when we get into it, what it basically comes down to is language. When you go to a hospital in Spain, you are not always going to be met by someone that speaks English. On the other hand, the hospitals that we've been to here in Portugal, and we have private insurance, English is spoken throughout the hospitals. So we haven't had a problem receiving service and understanding that service. And we've had service in both countries. And the times that we've been in Spain and had to go to the hospital, there have been occasions where no one spoke English. So even though Spain ranks higher, still, the language is more prevalent here in Portugal, and so we felt more comfortable with the healthcare system here.
The next criteria is the cost of living. And for this one, we're going to sort of go the easy way out, I guess I would say, and say that it goes to both countries. There's really not one that has a better cost of living than the other. We would say, based off of us living here in Portugal and in Spain, they're relatively the same in terms of cost of living.
So if you guys are interested in learning more about the cost of living here in Portugal, check out some of our videos on our cost of living in Lisbon and our cost of living out here on the Silver Coast. But next up, let's talk about education, because we have two young daughters, and picking a country that had a good education system was very important for us.
So there are a lot of international schools that are offered here in Portugal, and there are also many that are offered in Spain, and actually there's many more. Of course, Spain is a bigger country, but if you look at the different areas within Spain that have those international schools, it seems that there are more schools throughout the country of Spain, whereas here in Portugal, those international schools are really tied to primarily the bigger cities. So if you're looking for schools and you want more variety, it's more likely that you would choose Spain, or this point would go to Spain, because you could live in many more areas and still have options to go to international schools.
Now, despite this fact that Spain has more international schools than Portugal, we still chose Portugal because we knew that we would live in one of the areas that had an international school for our daughters. And we had done all of the research before we came, and we were sure about our decision.
So let's talk about safety next, and this one goes to Portugal. If you look at the Global Peace Index for 2020, you'll see that Portugal is ranked the third safest country in the world, Spain is ranked 38, and just to give you some comparison, the United States is ranked 121.
Now, those are amazing numbers. Portugal is the third safest country in the world, and I don't think a lot of people realize how safe it is here. We have the ability to walk about anywhere we want to, and we feel completely safe. We cannot say the same thing in the United States, ranked at 121. We need to work on that in the United States. But safety here in Portugal is amazing, and we've lived all over the world, including Japan, but still feel the safest we've ever felt here in Portugal. And the final criteria is things to do. And this is a very soft and squishy criteria because a lot has to do with your own personality. But for us and the things that we like to do, we found so much to do in both countries. But what sets Portugal apart from Spain is that Portugal is a small country. So you can live in the countryside like we do here on the Silver Coast and be in the city in less than 20 minutes. So it's one of those things that when you live here in Portugal, because the country is so, I guess, compact, you can do more things within a close proximity. On the other hand, there is a lot to do in Spain, but Spain is also a very large country, and sometimes it takes a little more travel time to get to some of these activities. But if you're just looking at things to do, we think that both of these countries rank the same.
So those are our 10 criteria comparing Portugal to Spain. Of course, we ultimately chose Portugal. We love it so much here. We even bought a house here in Portugal. Now, of course, if you want to learn more about Portugal, or if you want to learn more about saving money, making money, or investing money, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up to subscribe to our channel and join the journey.